I had a clue about P&L sheets, about profit and loss, and how to make sales and make money, but I didn't have any clue about, I've got to set up a business. I need a company name for a start. What the hell's that? I need to register with the tax man for this. I need to do this. And what's this? Oh, I've got to get this insurance. So all the time it was like a discovery of what's the next thing to do. And I think that in itself would put a lot of people off of actually going forth to start their own businesses. But you just need to take some time to, explore those options and see what you want to do, because it's possible for everybody. You can't just sit back and think, let's not do this. If you feel you've got to change your lifestyle, then you do it. Just go and change your lifestyle. Go and look to see what's out there. If I go and look at what my first business plan was, to the reality of what that was, it's quite hilarious. I mean, within my first year, I was going to turn over, I don't know, millions. I had in my head, I was going to set up this business and I was going to be booked overnight and I'd get this many nurses working for me and it was going to be so easy. And I was just like, I think I was just in, I don't know, in another cloud somewhere. So but that's nice. I think burning with naivety is actually quite a good position because it's a motivational thing. And then you're self-motivated because you can kind of take that aspect of the fact that you're going to make loads of money and not realize that actually it's not that easy. I took on my first nurse and she didn't get booked for 3 months. So by this time, my money was starting to really run out. And I was thinking, oh Christ, here we go. This might not work. And I was bashing on every dental person's door. And and you just have to. This is the point where the first hurdle comes into business. You've got your first hurdle setting up, but the real first hurdle is getting it going. And and I think the realization of what your first business plan is to the reality of that hits hard. And this is the point why businesses give up within the first year, is because you're the reality of what's coming on with your turnover. You're just thinking, oh my God, it's a corporate company within the UK. The person who owns it is a Tory donor who donates £400,000 a year to the Tories. Lives an opulent lifestyle, flies around in a helicopter from practice to practice. And there's my small business who's supplied him with dental nurses to go to work there. He's not paid me. And it took me 9 months and a court battle. I had to do a winding up petition and to finally get the money for that. And obviously, for me with 4 children, I do have a partner obviously who helps a bit, but that's not the point. The point is at that time, do you know what I mean? At that time, it was just really shocking that you've got people like that in the world. You're going to them, we're a small business, please pay. You've had our services. There was no dispute on invoices or anything like that. There's a lot of bullies out there in the world, and their will, I think they want their will is their way, and you have to be prepared to fight their willpowers. And I never knew I'd be like I feel like She-Ra sometimes, with a magic sword who's battling all the bad. You know what I mean? That's what you feel like as a business owner. You're like, where's it going to come from next? I had all those tiny things like the genetics, the winding up petition, the money not coming in, people like from those companies signing you up and there's no thing. And in periods of, you just feel like, what's the point of going on? I'm not making a profit. But I kept persevering. And I think that's the thing. You have to be like still, you've got to be a bit like iron and just keep plodding on. And these things, they always do rear their head in some way. But actually, everything always unravels eventually. But you have to let that unraveling happen. But that can be very stressful, especially when you're growing a business and you've got all the little, I would say, chicks in the nest with their mouths, going like they all need feeding. It's really weird, but you can kind of understand why some like rich people don't associate with other people, because you do get this sense of paranoia about who's in your crowds and who's with you because of these vipers that are just out there at various points doing all these things. Are really, they are high stress to deal with. It's not easy when you first come into business. All of those things are high stress, but then after a while you're like, oh, just another thing in business. you, sort you become a bit more resigned to the fact that um, stuff's going to happen. But growing, I think with growth, if I was to tell my first business self, I think I would actually congratulate myself a bit for my perseverance. I think perseverance is actually a very, a good quality to have. Those times when you are feeling like you want to quit and, you've had people walk all over you and horrible things happen, you're not alone. It's gonna, it is part of being in the throes of running something. But you will find your clan. Sometimes things will work out, and then sometimes when you're building things, it is difficult because you're going to have difficult conversations with people. It might be that that particular person doesn't fit the role that you've got them in, but you've built a close relationship with them. However, unfortunately, they're not reaching the business goals. It's okay to make those decisions where you have to let someone go because they're not reached, because you will not take your business 10 steps forward. When I'm in a position, and some of you will be in these positions when you're out there making these decisions, it's good to have your own personal clan that doesn't work in your business, that are your friends, that you can go and have a soundboarding session off with and just talk things through. So ultimately, your goal as a business person is to grow a business. There is no point taking the business on unless you're going to grow it. And some decisions are tough. Some people are out there to, they want a bit of what you've got. They want a chunk of what you've got. But ultimately, you're the person in control. And actually, that's a great feeling. And I love that. I love the fact that I own this business. And I love the fact that I have started this business from one nurse, and now I'm up to, I think, 73 nurses now working across the UK. It's not been an easy process. And if I was to sit here and say to you it was all everything was easy, blah, 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 I wouldn't be telling the truth, but I've loved every minute. My advice to anyone that's doing business, you're gonna, and you're in any of these times where, you're feeling like the world is out to get you, and you will feel like that at times, there's no doubt about it. Just chill out, don't worry about it. The world's out to get us all. It'll all unravel, it'll all be fine. Just go to your clan, go and speak to those people, talk about things, go and sound off. Okay, you can't call your staff arsehole to their face because it's not PC, but you can go and tell your friends they're an arsehole, and they'll quite happily listen, and they'll tell you about the arseholes in their life. I shouldn't really say arsehole, sorry, cut that bit out. How can I put that nicely? But it's good to use the word buffoon. I think you're going to have buffoons out there who are just going to be there, and when you build your team and you've got good people on board within your team, they actually take a lot of that away from you. They become more of a buffer between those things. And then it gets exciting because you can then concentrate on developing the business further and further into other avenues, into other ways. And you can concentrate on those things rather than, your nurse is having a nervous breakdown and, their car's blown.